Hello and welcome to our screencast on how to install XAMPP on Macintosh. And so this is part of my SI 572 database application design class at the University of Michigan, and I'm Dr. Chuck, your host. So one of the things you'll probably need before you start is a programmer's editor. I assume you could probably download TextWrangler. It's a free and very nice programmer's editor. I've already got it installed, sitting down here in my doc, and so we'll skip the installation of that. We'll just assume you know how to download and install something, and then we'll be using TextWrangler for this demonstration. So XAMPP is a free software that bundles MySQL and Apache web server and a whole bunch of other things together. So let's go ahead and download XAMPP for macOS. Now, this is a pretty big file, so we're going to use the magic of television to we'll use the magic of television to save some time here. We'll go down to the Macintosh OS download. So we'll take this one here and I'll click on it. It's 86 megabytes. And so it should, and I'm going to want to do this as an administrator, and so it should download in just a moment. Here we come. So there's the download. It's starting. So through the magic of television, we are already fast forwarded to the end, and so it's been downloaded. And I'll go into my downloads folder here, and so it comes down in the form of a disk image, and so we'll mount the disk image. So now disk image is here, and so I'm simply going to drag the XAMPP folder into the applications folder, and it'll copy that in. It's quite a bit of stuff because it has MySQL and PHP and Perl and even Java and a whole bunch of other stuff in it. So it's a pretty big fellow. It expands there to 312 megabytes, and so we will get it into our applications. So this happens to be a link to the applications folder. I will now eject the XAMPP disk, and I'll navigate to my Macintosh hard drive and go into applications and cruise down here, and I will find XAMPP. And so there is XAMPP right there. I will close the text editor. I will close the downloads folder, and I will start the XAMPP control panel. And yes, I trust it. And so here we are. In a moment, the XAMPP control panel should come up. There it is. And so this is telling me a little bit about where things are at. There, put your websites in X, and we'll do this in a second. I've got to start the Apache web server, which is what does PHP and web serving, and it'll run on port 8088. Oh, and the problem is that I have a conflict between the built-in web sharing. You may or may not see this, a conflict between the built-in web sharing and the Apache XAMPP. So let me go ahead and switch over to System Preferences. Say OK here, and I will go into my sharing. This is my Mac sharing, and I will unlock here, and I will turn off web sharing. When you go back and forth using standard web sharing in XAMPP, you got to turn this on and off. But now I'm done with System Preferences, so I'll quit that, and now I can say Start. Now it wants to make sure that I'm a system administrator. I'm doing this on a system administrator account. And it's starting the Apache web server, and now I'm going to want to start MySQL. Now we've got some security dialogues in case say yes, so we're okay. So let's go ahead into XAMPP by clicking on http://localhost. And so here we are in XAMPP. I will select English, and so here we are. A couple of things. PHP Info is a great piece of stuff in that it shows you all kinds of things that are installed. Chances are good that I mean, something may say, oh, I need LDAP support, or I need libxml, or whatever, or JSON support. And these are just libraries mostly that are either installed or not installed. One of the reasons we pick something like XAMPP is that it bundles a ton of stuff, so we don't have to learn how to extend our system. And so PHP info, and then the other thing that we're going to use to do our MySQL work is PHpMyAdmin. And so this has some databases in here, and I'm just going to make a new database. I'm going to call it Chuck. Database, oh yes, of course. What did I do wrong? Locking keychain. Oh, I guess I got it right. So now I'm going to create the database. And so if I go back home here in PHpMySQL, I see all these other things. Don't go deleting these things. These are sort of sitting there. This CD program, this is something that came installed. It's got a table, one table called CD collection, and so this got, and so but that's enough. You can PHpMyAdmin. I go to home. I'll go back to localhost so I can get back to XAMPP. So now I'm at XAMPP. Okay, and so there you go. So the next thing I want to do is I did my SQL to verify it was there. I even created a database. So we won't play much more with that. The next thing I'm going to do is use TextWrangler to create a PHP file. We'll leave that alone for now. And so I'm going to create a PHP file. Now PHP files are really extensions of HTML files. So I'm going to start with hello, just some HTML from Dr. Chuck's HTML page. And now I'm going to save this file, save as, and this is where it's going to be good to be the administrator. I'm going to go into my desktop, applications. I don't like that format. So desktop applications. This is a little nerve-wracking. Don't just go sticking stuff in here in general. XAMPP, htdocs. So this is sort of the stuff that they're doing. This is all where XAMPP is, and don't mess with this stuff. Let's make a new folder, and I will call my folder. Oops, it's not going to let me. Hang on. It's not going to let me make a new folder here. So the problem here is that I've got this folder that's read-only, so I'm just going to cancel out of this for a second. And I'm going to go back, and here I am, and I'm going to go to the htdocs file, and I'm going to change the permissions of this folder. So I'm in the htdocs folder, and I'm going to go to File, Get Info, and I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to go to Sharing and Permissions, and then I'm going to unlock this, which means I'm going to go behave as the administrator. And so now I'm going to say admin is going to have read and write. So I'm going to let the administrator, that's me, have read and write, and then I'm going to lock it back up. Okay? And so it's just trying to tell us we're not supposed to be messing with this, but we're going to put files in here anyways. So let's see if that was enough. Now I'll say new folder, and now I can say SI572, and so I've unlocked it. Again, this is important to be administrator. So now I go into SI572 and I say index.php. It knows that index.php is what to serve when we go into this folder 572. So I will now save my little program, and let's close this, and let's leave that, just minimize that. And now we're going to go, instead of to XAMPP, we're going to go to SI572/index.php. And yay, there we go. We've got ourselves a nice little HTML page. We'll put this down here. I guess I can close this guy. So here we are. So we've got ourselves a nice little HTML page. Now I'm going to add a little bit to my PHP file, add a paragraph, and now I'm going to switch from HTML to PHP using the signal / less than question mark, and I'm going to say echo hi there, /n with a semicolon, double quotes, semicolon. And I'm going to put a little paragraph here at the end. So I'm back in HTML. This thing signals the end of PHP, and then I switch back to HTML. Another paragraph. Oh wait, I don't want to do that. I want to say /p to end that paragraph. This is now a paragraph. Some of it's coming from PHP, some of it's coming from the sort of background HTML template, and then I'll put another whole paragraph. Yes, another paragraph. /p. And then I will save this, file, save, and I'll come over here, I'll hit refresh, and look at that. So this part came from the HTML, this part came from the HTML, but this little hi there came from the PHP. Now, the key is, when PHP runs, it interprets this, and the output of whatever that program is what's inserted here. So we'll see this paragraph and end paragraph. If I do a view source, you see the paragraph and the end paragraph, and then you just see the output. There's no question marks, no less thans. This middle bit came from the execution of the PHP that's sitting there in the middle of that file. So let's go do a little bit more, and I'll say $answer equals 6 times 7, and I'll say echo the answer is $answer, comma, what was the question again? \n. So I'm making sure I put a new line in. That \n is a new line. And so there we go. So I'm going to hit the save on this, and then I'm going to hit refresh. Oops. I got a syntax error, and so it's telling me the exact file, which happens to be this file that I've got, on line 6. Line 6. So line 6 is the one that I did before. The answer is $answer. What was the question again? What's it complaining about? Unexpected double quote. Unexpected double quote. Oh. I mistyped echo. I did it again. Now I got it right. Now I will save my file again, because the PHP can have syntax errors, of course. And there we go. And there we go. So hi there. Now, if we look at the source of this, view source of the HTML page, you see that hi there and hi there and this line, the answer is 42. They're on separate lines, and that's because there's this new line at the end, the new line at the end. But between here and here is all the stuff that's coming out of the PHP execution. It's sort of a side effect of the PHP execution. It's the output of the PHP execution. And the rest of this is just sort of the surrounding HTML template that is PHP, because PHP really is a templating language that allows you to switch from HTML into a programming language and then back out. But the default for PHP is just to be HTML file with little bits of executable code in there. And so that's pretty much the end of this little exercise. If you want to stop, you can stop Apache. You need to type the root password again, and then stop MySQL. If you do this too slow, it actually asks you for that password twice. And you may want, depending on how your situation is set up, to go back into System Preferences, to go back into Sharing, and to turn web sharing back on, where you're using the built-in Apache web server that comes with your Apple Macintosh. If you're really not using that, then there's no reason to turn this on, and then you just kind of use XAMPP and MAMP. And so when I'm done, I can quit the XAMPP control panel. Okay? So thank you very much for your time.